What's going on, everyone? This is Sonic Mix, and today I'm going to give my review of WWE SmackDown for June 7th, 2013. And overall, not a really good show. There was only 2 matches on the card that I found was interesting. In other words, good. But without further ado, let's begin. So the night kicks off with The Miz TV, with The Miz himself, Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, and Team Hell No. They always start the show off with Miz TV, which I don't know why, but for the many times they have started off, it's never been all that interesting. But this was actually pretty good for what it was worth. I'm not going to lie. They're continuing the story with the whole Daniel Bryan, how people are looking at him as the weak link, and Daniel Bryan did an amazing job of pretty much talking like he's like this big underdog, which I'm loving the way how they're taking this Daniel Bryan story and they're basically making him look like he's this weak link and he's going to pretty much be like this big underdog in the end. Hopefully he will become this big underdog in the end. But for the segment that it was worth, it was pretty interesting. I would definitely say I was pretty entertained for what they were showing here. I give it a 2.25 out of 5. I know that might sound a bit high, but I did like what they showed in this segment. Then we get our first match of the night, Chris Jericho versus Curtis Axel, but not before we get a promo from Heyman and Curtis Axel. The little promo segment, nothing really too much. Of course, they're kind of bragging the fact and kind of making it like it's a big deal with the whole, Curtis Axel getting 3 victories, 2 on Cena, 1 on Triple H. And actually, I think it was Michael Cole, actually, that brought this up. And he made a good point how that the victories should technically not count in a way. And when it comes to a count-out victory, I mean, I guess in the long run, it does count as a victory. But in the actual long run, it doesn't really increase the character of the character that gets the count-out victories. So it's more like a, oh, who cares type of point. I give it a 2 out of 5. I felt like this was pretty weak. It was very weak for what it was worth, especially for a Paul Heyman segment. Then we get into Chris Jericho versus Curtis Axel. This was a good match. I was actually very impressed from what I saw. And I definitely think Chris Jericho has put Curtis Axel to his best match for the 3 weeks I think he's been now as Curtis Axel. He's definitely given Curtis Axel his best match in this match. And I was very impressed from what I saw, and I like the fact how Paul Heyman did the whole "it's clobbering time." CM Punk's music hits. Chris Jericho thinks he's gonna come out, and then Curtis Axel gets the cheap win on Chris Jericho, which, as a heel, which Curtis Axel is, he actually pins Chris Jericho in a heel fashion, and actually gets a pinfall victory on a big superstar like Chris Jericho. Which I wish that they would make Curtis Axel get a pinfall victory on John Cena or Triple H, which would be a lot better. But Chris Jericho, I can't complain. And you know what? They actually gave Curtis Axel a pinfall over Jericho and not the stupid count-out victory. I give it a 3 out of 5. I know I might sound a bit high on this match, but I thought it was impressive. And for the 13 minutes that it was given, Chris Jericho definitely gave Curtis Axel his best match so far in his career. Up next was the Kane and Ryback backstage segment. Nothing really interesting. Wasn't really blown away by it. But I think I will say this was better than Daniel Bryan and Ryback's backstage on Raw. Just because of the fact the whole my throat was bigger than yours was just the one that just really killed it the most. I give it a 1.75 out of 5. Like I said, nothing special, nothing interesting. Up next was Alberto Del Rio versus Heath Slater. Match never got started. All three members of the 3MB basically gang up on Alberto Del Rio. And the only good thing that came out of this was the appearance of Dolph Ziggler and saying that he's going to show himself on Raw this coming Monday. This gets an NA. Like I said, the match never got started. They basically jumped on Alberto Del Rio, and what more can I say? Hey, for once, it wasn't Alberto Del Rio versus Big E Langston. And at least I didn't have to repeat myself again. Up next was Kane versus Ryback. I was actually kind of surprised that they had a very good pace here. It was kind of quick for the most part, but for about, I think it was like 6-7 minutes that they were given, nothing really too special. I mean, even though it had a good pace to it, but I just kind of felt like even with a good pace, it did felt slow. I know that doesn't really make too much sense, but I guess it was alright for what it was worth. I give it a 2 out of 5. Up next, we had the Damien Sandow promo. This wasn't too good. I was really not really much impressed by it. I think, I mean, I don't know how much they're going to drag on with this, but I just got to say, I think this thing has already taken its toll. The first time they did it, I think, was probably the best. How Sandow made Sheamus kind of look bad in a way, and how Sandow dodged that bro kick very, very intelligent. And yeah, I think this is really taking its toll, and knowing the WWE, they're probably going to keep dragging this on until people get bored of it. I give it a star, I give it a 1.75 out of 5. And then right after that, we get the Daniel Bryan backstage segments with Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton. This was okay for what it was worth. Of course, Randy Orton saying that I don't need a partner, I don't want a partner, but I'm forced to tag team with you to face the Shield, so let's go out there and do it. And then Daniel Bryan with this whole weak link and all that. It was okay. Nothing really too interesting, but it was okay, and definitely something to build up the weakness character of Daniel Bryan. I give it a 2 out of 5 for that segment. Up next was Fandango versus Zack Ryder. Nothing special. This match was only 2 minutes, and Fandango wins, which was no surprising. This match gets a 1 out of 5. I have to say. Up next was the Caitlyn versus Natalya backstage segment with the whole mystery boyfriend. The only thing good that came out of this was that he's going to be revealed this coming Monday, which would be June 10th for the Raw edition. And really quick on this segment, as I'm puzzling all this together, it can't be Cody Rhodes and it can't be Dolph Ziggler. So here's what I'm thinking. I think it's going to be the Great Khali, and it's going to be pretty stupid. However, I think the one thing that I would like to see come out of it is Natalya being the heel diva. I know they were kind of teasing it tonight, how like Natalya was saying to Caitlyn that I think you guys need to do it in private, not on Raw. And then Caitlyn is basically saying to Natalya, are you downing me in a way? And Natalya's like, no, I'm not. So I think actually, if you're going to make the stupid choice of making it the Great Khali, at least in return, make Natalya a heel, just so that you make her serious again and you don't make her look like a joke with Hornswoggle and the Great Khali. If it's somebody else, it might be interesting, depending who it is. If it's somebody already on the roster, it might not be interesting, depending how they take the storyline. If it's somebody completely fresh, new off the market, then we'll see how that goes. But don't be surprised if it's the Great Khali, and if it is, it's going to be stupid. Unless they make Natalya a heel, then it might be good for Natalya, but the segment itself would be very stupid. I give it a 1.25 just because of the fact that they're finally going to reveal this person on Raw. And then finally, the main event, Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan versus the Shields, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. This was a good match. Very solid match. Had a good pace to it. Randy Orton did his show. Daniel Bryan getting the crowd very over with him. The crowd getting so behind him. And then, of course, with the close calls on the pins on the Shield. Bit skeptic about the ending, that it was a DQ. I think it did hurt the match a little bit, seeing it was going very good. However, I did like the ending, towards the ending, how Daniel Bryan missed was going after Seth Rollins with the kick and hits Randy Orton, and then the DQ comes, and then Daniel Bryan's on fire, and then Randy Orton hits the RKO on Daniel Bryan, and Randy Orton actually got a bit of a boo, actually, when he did that. And actually, I'm actually hoping somehow, some way, that they make Randy Orton turn heel. I really hope that they do, because I think it's finally time, and this stale good guy Orton has become much more stale, and I think him becoming heel will definitely be a breath of fresh air. So I'm hoping on Monday Night Raw, I hope the crowd boos at Orton and gets really behind on Daniel Bryan when Daniel Bryan shows up. Or better yet, have Daniel Bryan show up, give him this big crowd reaction of cheers, then have Orton come out and give him this big reaction of boos. I think that would work out pretty well. I give it a 3 out of 5 for that. Overall, like I said, wasn't really much of a good show. I wouldn't say unwatchable, but I guess it was just more of those points where it's like you just wanted to just flip to the good matches. And those good matches were Chris Jericho versus Curtis Axel and Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan versus The Shield. Overall, I give this SmackDown about 5.75-ish, maybe 5.5, somewhere around there. Alright, well, this was my review of WWE SmackDown for June 7th. No, yep, June 7th, 2013. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please do leave your comments on the bottom. Tell me how you guys liked WWE SmackDown for June 7th, 2013. And until then, this is Sonomix saying you guys have a good night, and I'll see you guys later.